Most men believe that in order to attract women, they need to chase them, buy them things, or constantly give them attention. But what if I told you the key to making women irresistibly attracted to you isn't about doing more, it's about doing less? Emotional control is the secret. When you're able to master your emotions and maintain composure in any situation, you stand out in ways that words or actions alone can't accomplish. Women are naturally drawn to men who are calm, grounded, and steady. They're attracted to men who aren't affected by external circumstances or by the opinions of others. The moment you stop seeking validation from her or anyone else is when you begin to radiate an undeniable magnetic energy. And that energy is what makes you irresistible. Most men don't realize that emotional control isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about understanding them, managing them, and using them to your advantage. When a woman sees that you're not controlled by your emotions, it creates an aura of power and stability around you. Think about it. When you stay calm in situations where most men would get flustered or anxious, you automatically stand out. Women notice this because, deep down, they're looking for a man who can handle the pressures of life without losing his composure. Emotional control allows you to remain unshaken, and that's incredibly attractive. It shows her that you are someone who can lead, someone who can handle challenges, and someone who doesn't need constant emotional validation. That's the man who draws women in. When you master emotional control, you stop reacting. Most men, when faced with conflict or emotional tension, will immediately react, whether it's getting angry, anxious, or trying to fix the problem too quickly. But a Stoic man, he observes. He assesses the situation with clarity and only reacts when it's necessary. Women are instinctively drawn to men who have emotional mastery because it's rare. The ability to stay calm, even when things around you are chaotic, signals to her that you are emotionally strong and secure in yourself. This isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about having the emotional intelligence to respond with purpose, not impulse. By maintaining this control, you set yourself apart from the emotional roller coaster that most men create. You become the steady, reliable force in her life, and that's what makes you irresistible. If you're ready to master emotional control and become the man women crave, subscribe and hit the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next. What emotional control really gives you is the ability to set boundaries. And this is key. Women, like everyone else, are subconsciously drawn to men who know their limits and won't let anyone, including her, cross them. When you remain emotionally composed, you create a space where your boundaries are clear and respected. A man who lets his emotions dictate his actions is easily manipulated. He bends to others' needs, constantly trying to please. But a Stoic man who understands emotional control doesn't need to please anyone. He sets boundaries, speaks his mind, and sticks to what he believes in. This makes you highly attractive. Women respect men who have strong boundaries because it shows they have self-respect, a key trait that makes you irresistible. And when you establish emotional control, you're also creating a magnetic presence that naturally draws women in. Not because you're trying, but because you're simply being the best version of yourself. Emotional control also allows you to make decisions without being swayed by emotions or external influences. Most men make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. They act impulsively or react based on fear, anger, or desire. But the Stoic man? He makes decisions based on logic, long-term vision, and his values. This is a trait women find incredibly attractive. When you can stay calm and make decisions from a place of strength, you not only earn her respect, but you also make her feel safe. A man who is emotionally stable can lead in relationships, handle conflicts, and provide security. And these are qualities women desperately seek in a partner. When you act with emotional control, you show her that you are someone who can navigate the ups and downs of life without losing your way. This stability is what makes you stand out and draw her in. Emotional control also means that you stop chasing attention. Most men feel the need to prove themselves, to constantly seek approval from the people around them. They look for validation through their words, actions, or even material success. But the Stoic man? He doesn't chase. He simply exists with confidence and purpose. When you stop chasing her attention, you automatically become more attractive. Women are drawn to men who have a life, who are not emotionally dependent on anyone for their happiness or worth. When you're emotionally independent, you send a powerful signal. You are not seeking approval, and your value is not tied to her. This sense of emotional self-sufficiency makes you magnetic. She sees you as someone who is not only in control of his emotions, but also in control of his life. And that is the ultimate source of attraction. When you master emotional control, you also become a natural leader. Women are instinctively drawn to men who can lead, who have a clear sense of direction and purpose. A man who is emotionally grounded is able to take charge in situations without becoming overwhelmed by stress or emotion. This leadership comes from within. It's not about being loud or dominating. It's about maintaining your composure when things get tough and leading by example. A Stoic man doesn't let his emotions dictate his actions. Instead, he acts from a place of strength, clarity, and purpose. Women are looking for a man who can take the lead, who doesn't crumble under pressure, and who can guide them with confidence. When you exhibit emotional control, you naturally step into this role of leadership, and women will be drawn to you because they see you as someone who can be trusted and relied upon. One of the most powerful effects of emotional control is the way it enhances your presence. When you're emotionally composed, you carry a sense of calm authority with you. It's a presence that speaks volumes without you having to say a word. Think about the most powerful people you know. They don't need to constantly assert their dominance or impress others. Their emotional control is what gives them presence. It's the calmness in their demeanor, the way they handle stress and pressure, and the way they make others feel secure. Women are drawn to men who have this kind of presence. When you exude calm confidence, when your emotions don't control you, you naturally become a leader and a source of stability. You become someone who commands respect without having to ask for it. This emotional steadiness is a silent form of power that makes you more attractive. Women are drawn to men who are not just in control of their emotions, but who can also make others feel safe and grounded in their presence. When you consistently maintain emotional control, you stop being affected by external factors. The opinions of others, the challenges of life, or even the ups and downs of relationships no longer sway your emotional state. This creates a man who is not easily rattled, who stands strong in his own purpose, and who leads with unshakable calm. This level of emotional independence is incredibly attractive because it signals that you are not dependent on anyone or anything to define your worth. You don't need approval to feel good about yourself. You don't need validation to stand firm in your decisions. When women see that you are emotionally self-sufficient, they naturally begin to trust you. They see that you are not the type of man who will crumble under pressure or get overwhelmed by emotions. You are steady. You are secure. And that is what makes you irresistible. When you become emotionally controlled, you stop playing into the narrative that women are the ones who control the emotional flow of a relationship. You show them that you can lead the emotional dynamic by maintaining control, by being the calm in the storm. You become a man who isn't swayed by her moods or behaviors, but instead, you influence the relationship in a positive and empowering way. Women are naturally drawn to this level of emotional strength. They feel safe, secure, and even inspired by the man who maintains his composure regardless of external circumstances. This is the power of Stoicism. It allows you to navigate life with a sense of control, never letting emotions dictate your actions. This is the kind of man that commands respect, admiration, and, most importantly, attraction. When you exude this emotional control, women won't just be drawn to you because of your strength. They'll want to be around you because your presence makes them feel more grounded and emotionally secure than they've ever felt with anyone else. When you understand and embody emotional control, you also become immune to the trivial conflicts and unnecessary dramas that many men find themselves involved in. You no longer react impulsively to things that don't matter. You no longer get caught in petty arguments or get rattled by minor setbacks. This emotional immunity frees up your energy to focus on what truly matters. You stop wasting time on things that drain you, and instead, you invest your emotional energy into things that add value to your life and your growth. You become more productive, more focused, and ultimately, more attractive. Women see this in you. They notice that you aren't distracted by every little issue, that you don't let every small thing affect you. Instead, you stay centered, grounded, and composed, and this creates a sense of calm strength around you. It's a powerful force, and it's one that women can't help but be drawn to. As you become more emotionally controlled, you start to attract not just attention, but the right kind of attention. Women are attracted to men who possess depth, stability, and emotional intelligence. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about maintaining your own emotional state in the face of whatever life throws your way. Women are drawn to men who don't crumble when things get tough. They want someone who is steady, someone who doesn't let external circumstances dictate how he feels. When you are emotionally controlled, you create an environment where women feel safe to open up, be themselves, and express their own emotions. Your emotional stability provides a sense of security that is incredibly attractive. It's the kind of energy that makes women feel comfortable, secure, and ultimately, emotionally attached. Emotional control also allows you to create depth in your interactions. When you stop reacting based on emotions, you can engage with women on a deeper level. You can have meaningful conversations without getting lost in emotional highs and lows. This is where your attraction really deepens. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't just talk about surface-level topics, but who can connect on a deeper, more meaningful level. They want to feel understood, but also challenged. And that's what emotional control gives you the ability to do. You can navigate deeper conversations without getting overly attached or emotionally reactive. You can talk about things that matter, and in doing so, you build a connection that's grounded in something real, not just physical attraction or fleeting emotions. This level of connection is what keeps women coming back for more. Mastering emotional control doesn't just make you more attractive to women. It transforms you into the kind of man who is desirable for the long term. Women are not just attracted to men who are confident. They are drawn to men who are calm under pressure, who don't need external validation, and who can lead without being swayed by emotions. When you remain emotionally controlled, you show women that you are a man who is emotionally self-sufficient, a man who doesn't depend on anyone else to feel complete. This type of emotional strength is rare, and that rarity is what makes you irresistible. When you stop chasing, stop seeking approval, and start leading with emotional control, women begin to crave your presence. They want to be around you, not because of what you can give them, but because of the energy you exude. You've become a man of value, a man who knows his worth, and that is what women truly desire. This is the power of Stoic emotional control. It doesn't just make you attractive, it makes you unforgettable.